Lately, I've been reflecting on how we manage money, not just the typical advice about budgeting or saving, but on a deeper level, considering how money impacts us spiritually. It's fascinating because money touches almost every aspect of our lives, our choices, goals, and even our peace of mind. And what's really eye-opening is that Jesus had a lot to say about money, not just about tithing or giving, but about concepts that might really surprise you and shift your perspective. I'm going to share 3 insights that completely changed how I view money, and I'm convinced they'll do the same for you. Grab a coffee and get comfortable because we're about to explore some profound truths about money, faith, and how they work together. First off, Jesus made it clear that money isn't just a tool for survival or personal gain. It's a way God examines our character and integrity. Many of us see money as simply a means to an end, but Jesus challenges that view. Our financial choices, whether we're sharing what we have, spending wisely, or saving responsibly, are actually indicators of how trustworthy and faithful we are with what we've been given. These choices serve as a test for even greater spiritual responsibilities and blessings. One of the most powerful lessons Jesus shared was that it is more blessed to give than to receive. But it doesn't stop there. Let's dive into 3 unexpected lessons Jesus taught about money that transformed my understanding. The first lesson comes from Luke 16 verse 1, where Jesus says, "If you have not been trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches?" This concept turned my thinking upside down. Jesus is teaching us that how we manage our earthly wealth is a reflection of our character and stewardship. It's not just about money, it's a test of integrity. If we're not faithful with small amounts, how can we expect to be trusted with larger spiritual blessings? This is echoed in the parable of the talents in Matthew 25, where a wealthy man entrusts his servants with his riches before going away. The servants who wisely invest and grow the wealth are praised and given even more responsibility. But the servant who does nothing out of fear loses what he had been given. This parable shows us that money isn't something to hoard or hold onto out of fear. Instead, it's a tool to create value and show faithfulness. It's a powerful reminder to be intentional with our money, not just to accumulate wealth, but to use it thoughtfully to bring good to others. Are we using our money in a way that honors God and helps those in need? Are we generous, or do we hoard our wealth out of fear of not having enough? Seeing money as a test of faithfulness invites us to view it as an opportunity for growth, both financially and spiritually. When we manage our resources with wisdom, we show that we're ready for the true riches Jesus speaks of. Now let's talk about the second surprising lesson, which deals with taxes. I know taxes are a contentious issue for many, but Jesus addressed it directly, and his perspective might just change how we think about our financial obligations and our attitude toward them. In Matthew 17 verse 27, Jesus offers a profound yet practical example that blends divine guidance with earthly obligations. He tells Peter to go to the lake, cast a line, and catch the first fish. Inside the fish's mouth, Peter would find a coin, the exact amount needed to pay both their taxes. At first glance, this might seem like a whimsical or even fantastical tale, but it carries a deeper, valuable lesson. Jesus isn't avoiding his responsibilities. He's fulfilling them, but in a way that showcases how God's provision can come through the most unexpected channels. The message is clear. Even in mundane, practical matters, divine wisdom can guide us. This moment also reveals Jesus' respect for civic duties. Despite the fact that Jesus had the power to avoid paying the tax, he chose to meet his obligations to prevent causing offense. This illustrates a key point. While we may not always feel comfortable with every responsibility or task that comes our way, sometimes we are called to do things that contribute to the common good, even when they seem burdensome or unnecessary. The miracle here isn't just the coin, but the fact that Jesus shows us the importance of fulfilling our commitments, even the ones we might not want to face. Furthering this point, in Matthew 22 verses 17 to 21, Jesus is confronted by the Pharisees, who ask him if it's right to pay taxes to Caesar. The question is a trap. If Jesus says no, he risks being labeled a political rebel. If he says yes, he might seem disloyal to his fellow Jews. But instead of getting caught up in the politics of the question, Jesus responds with wisdom. Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's. His response is a perfect balance. It acknowledges the responsibility of fulfilling earthly duties, such as paying taxes, but also makes it clear that our ultimate allegiance is to God. This principle is relevant today. Yes, we all have responsibilities to our countries, whether it's paying taxes or contributing to society in other ways. And while it might feel like a burden at times, Jesus shows us that these duties can be handled without losing sight of our higher calling. Taxes, though difficult, are part of our social contract. They fund things like education, healthcare, infrastructure, and public services, which ultimately benefit the entire community. Paying taxes doesn't diminish your faith. In fact, when done with the right mindset, it becomes a way of contributing to the greater good while still honoring your spiritual values. Finally, Jesus offers a powerful principle about financial planning in Luke 14 verses 28 to 30. He teaches that before embarking on any venture, one must first count the cost to see if they have enough resources to finish what they've started. He likens this to building a tower. If you don't plan and budget carefully, you might end up with only the foundation built, leaving your project incomplete and exposing yourself to ridicule. This simple advice can be a game changer in how we approach our financial lives. Planning ahead, budgeting, and making intentional, thoughtful decisions about money can help us avoid unnecessary pitfalls and setbacks. This is especially important when it comes to debt. Debt can often feel like a weight that holds us back from experiencing the peace and freedom God wants for us. But through faith and disciplined action, we can take steps to overcome this burden. By aligning our finances with biblical principles, we can create a financial covenant, a sacred commitment with God to help us manage and eliminate debt. It's not just about hoping things will change. It's about taking concrete, faith-driven steps to transform our financial situation. Imagine having a personalized plan that blends faith with practical financial strategies. It's not just about eliminating debt. It's about finding freedom and peace in your financial life, trusting that God can guide you to where you need to be. If you're ready to break free from the chains of debt, know that through faith and action, you can rebuild your finances and restore your financial peace. Investing may seem like a heavy burden, especially when times are tough, but consider it more like planting a seed. Even in moments of scarcity, we are often called to invest in faith, trusting that the harvest we're promised will come. If you feel inspired to take action, trust that the step you take today can begin a new financial journey for you. Start building a legacy, a financial covenant that leads to true freedom, the kind that's grounded in faith and wisdom. In Luke 14 verses 28 to 30, Jesus shares a vital lesson on budgeting and financial planning. He urges us not to begin a project, whether it's building a house or making a financial commitment, until we've counted the cost. Imagine starting a project only to run out of resources halfway through. The foundation is laid, but the work can't be completed, and the result is embarrassment. Jesus uses this story to remind us to be thoughtful stewards of our resources, considering the full scope of what we are committing to before diving in. This teaching encourages intentionality in how we manage our money, especially in a world that often pressures us to live beyond our means. It's so easy to fall into the trap of impulsive spending, buying things we don't need, taking on debt to impress others, or projecting a lifestyle that isn't sustainable. Jesus' words remind us that true freedom comes from living within our means, embracing contentment, and resisting the constant pull of consumerism. In today's world, personal finance and budgeting are more important than ever. Faith is essential, but it doesn't replace the need for careful planning and responsibility. Neglecting to save, failing to plan, or trying to live beyond our means can lead to stress, regret, and even strain on relationships. Jesus teaches us to be wise, to think ahead, and to set realistic goals so we can follow through on our commitments with confidence. Instead of seeing budgeting as restrictive, we should view it as a tool for long-term security and peace of mind. By understanding our financial limits, we can make better decisions, avoid unnecessary debt, and focus on what truly matters without being burdened by financial stress. Financial freedom doesn't come from impulsive spending. It's the result of careful planning, discipline, and foresight. In a world where we are constantly encouraged to buy more, borrow more, and keep up with trends, Jesus' teachings are incredibly relevant today. They call us to be wise in our financial choices, to know what we can genuinely afford, and to guard ourselves against the trap of materialism. Living within our means doesn't mean deprivation. It means prioritizing what truly matters, creating a life that is manageable, peaceful, and aligned with our values. In all of these teachings, Jesus provides a framework that can transform the way we approach money. He shows us how financial decisions can be a means of spiritual growth, a way to meet our responsibilities, and a path to living with purpose. These principles of faith, wisdom, and integrity can shape our financial lives, leading us to more than just financial success. They can lead us to a deeper understanding of our true calling. Money, for Jesus, was always a tool, one that could either enhance or hinder our spiritual journey, depending on how we used it. The question we must ask ourselves is, are we faithful with what we've been given? Are we passing the test of stewardship? Just a few words from Jesus can shift our perspective on money and help us see it for what it truly is, an opportunity to build a life of faith, purpose, and integrity. If you found this perspective helpful or inspiring, I encourage you to share it with someone who might need to hear it. There's so much more to explore together as we continue on this journey of financial wisdom and spiritual growth. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to sharing more insights with you soon.